So, it's a bit of a stump the clown for now. I guess I'm going to have a look at the rears, mate. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Maintenance with Mike. So today we're talking about the 4th gen Toyota 4Runner and the Achilles heel front calipers and braking. For whatever reason, these things fail quite often. I had the original calipers changed under Toyota factory warranty. Once that warranty ran out, they just become cost prohibitive. Like I'm talking like $1,200 plus for the calipers. So it's got a different set of calipers on there now. I believe they're Raybestos. I think I went full Raybestos caliper, rotor, and pads. I'm experiencing now a shudder in the pedal under heavy braking, which would indicate that in the travel of the rotor's traveling true, so it's not warped. It's running perfect, but there's some dissimilar or heating thicknesses on the rotor, and it's causing it to grab and release and grab and release and grab and release, and that's what we're getting, that shimmering in the pedal. If you were getting a shaking in the steering, it would mean the rotor has been superheated or overheated, and it is now warped, and it's traveling like this between the pads and the calipers, and that's under braking causing your steering to go back and forth. That is not the case. We're experiencing it only in the pedal, which I believe the rotor is true, but there's something that's gone on between the rotor and the pad that has caused this shimmering in the pedal under heavy braking. So we're going to tear it all apart today. We've got a dial gauge. We're going to check the runout on the rotor to make sure it's true. We're going to have a look at them and figure out maybe what happened. And then I guess we're going to replace them again with probably a different brand and see how that goes. So let's get started. So my secret with working on the Toyota in the garage is, as you can see here, we've got a jack stands and we've got a hydraulic jack. So we're going to use a hydraulic jack to jack up the front. We're going to throw a jack stand under the frame on the front. We're going to use another hydraulic jack to jack up the back, and we're going to throw a jack stand under that axle. Because when we put or rotate tires on these four-wheel drive vehicles, they only switch front to back. They don't go to the opposite side. So you just jack up the driver's side. We're going to pull both these wheels off. We're going to have a look at those brakes while we're at it. We're going to put the snows on and get going. So always be safe when you're working with hydraulic jacks. Never rely on the hydraulic jack to hold the vehicle without a jack stand underneath the frame. So let's get going. Yeah, it doesn't look that great. The pads look almost brand new. Well, we're going to have to see what's going on here. I mean, it could be the other side that's causing it. We know it's not the wheel bearing and that, because this has brand new wheel bearings and the whole hub assembly and new CV axles, plus new calipers, new rotors, new pads. So, man, those pads are in really good shape still. I'd hate to have to change those, but I think really the only way to figure out what's going on here is to put the meter on here. We can put two of those on to hold the rotor against the studs, because obviously when you're turning this, if it's loose inside the stud holes, you're not going to get a true reading. So that's kind of tightened that up. Let's grab the meter and a light and get you all set up here. You can see this gap here and here is how much brake pad is left on that rotor. That's that is a lot. There's a lot of brake material left there. So we're going to have a look at those and see If that may be part of the issue, we can grease those caliper pins and make sure that it's moving freely. Like I said, these are a fairly new caliper, so we shouldn't be having issues with the caliper. I'm wondering, I did spray the frame and the underside of the 4Runner with wool wax before this winter, and I tried to be really careful to not get anything on the rotor, but I'm wondering if inadvertently I got some overspray on there, and that's what's causing. It's sort of like a weird brown sheen. Now I don't know if that's heat. So this is not a sponsored video, but this is the AccuSize industrial tool. It's the basically an analog gauge for ball joints and rotor runout you can use. It is the vice grip option. I just found that this is a better sort of, you can't always find a place to put the magnet on, but my thought would be is you could always take this off the vice grip and get a strong magnet. So you could basically make you make this so that it works on both. So this basically threads into here, and then when you tighten this cam, it pulls all these little linkages together tight so that this stays where it's put. So here is the gauge, and we've got, you can see you want to set it up so it's sort of running in the middle of its position here, and then you can set, see where the needle's at 0 right now, so that's 1,000 out. That's, well, 1 thou out, that's 2 thou out. So we can't go past that. It needs to be somewhere between here and here, the rotor spec. So I'm going to get this set up, and then we're going to see how this tool works. So we're going to rotate this now, and you'll see this needle move. I will give you a close-up later once we figure out what's going on here. That rotor is straight. That's not even 5 thou, and you're allowed between 10 and 20. That noise is obviously the pin on the gauge, but between here and here is where we're allowed to run at, and we're nowhere near. We're just, mostly above 0 until that one little section where it goes. It's going to start to go up now. I mean, that's good. We're going to put the snow tires on, and we're going to check the other side. I will pull this caliper off right now. I will grease the guide pins and have a look at the pads as well. But I think we're just going to button this side up and put the snow tire on. And when we pull the other one off, we're going to check that rotor as well. And this also checks the hub as well. Like, what can happen is when you put new rotors on, if there's rust on the hub front plate where the rotor attaches to, the rotor could sit sort of not true on the hub, and that'll give you a wobble or sort of a runout issue. But as I said, these are brand new hubs, brand new CV axles, all changed at once. So this rotor not mating to the hub because of rust is not a likely cause, because they were brand new. So I've pulled the brake pads out, and I have checked by pressing the brake pedal lightly while watching, and these 4 pistons move freely in and out. So, and those brake pads look fine. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this is not the side that's giving us the grief, but so here's the thing. I have no idea what's going on here because now I'm on the passenger side and I'm checking the runout here, and you can see that rotor is true. It is not warped. So maybe it's a brake shoe issue. I don't know. Any insight would be awesome. I can tell you right now, it's not the rotors. And the brake pads look, the brake pads look really good still. Maybe I'll try to clean them all with some brake clean. Do a little bit of Scotch-Brite on the rotor, and do the eight heavy stops again, and see if I can get those to brandish or seat better than what they are. I don't know. So it's a bit of a stump the clown for now. I guess I'm going to have a look at the rears. Maybe I'd be surprised if it was the rear that was causing all that shaking, but I don't know. Never say never, I guess. Nothing wrong with the front ones. It seems so. I'm almost positive it was coming from the front, but maybe it is coming from the back. I don't know. Again, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just very good at paying attention to what I'm taking apart and putting it back together. So I don't know if you guys have any pointers or maybe can suggest what you think it might be, but to me right now, this caliper looks fine. The brake pads look fine. Same with the other side. You know, I cleaned it up with Scotch-Brite. Maybe I'll do the same here. I'll pull the caliper off. I'll lubricate these pins and just check the pads and make sure nothing's going on the inside and one of the pads isn't chewed up. But I can tell by looking at it from here, it looks good. So anyway, we are going to call it at this point. Hold the phone. Found the culprit. It's the rear rotors that were the culprit. You can see on the inside of that rotor face, it's basically fragmented and basically peeling off. So yeah, the one pad on the inside was worn right off, and well, that's what was causing the vibrations in the pedal. I would have sworn it was the front, but turns out it was the rear. So I do appreciate you hanging out with me for a bit today. If you like these videos, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, share it with a family member or a friend, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.